Life's problems have their own schedule. So do you. When you need someone to talk to, Serena is there. Follow the link in the description for your free trial.
Am I the asshole for teaching my autistic daughter a harsh lesson? I have an autistic 14-year-old who has terrible hygiene. I have to fight with her to get her to shower, brush her teeth, and clean up after herself during her period. It is disgusting. Blood everywhere and the constant washing of underwear. She sees no problem with her inability to clean herself up. I told her that people are going to bully her in school if she smells bad and that it is hard to recover from that socially, and she ignored me. Well, she had her period last week. I picked her clothing and allowed her to wear white pants. I wanted to see if she would clean up after herself so that the pants would be clean when she came back home. Before I even dropped her off, the pants were red. I stayed silent. I dropped her off like normal. She needed to learn how these type of situations will impact her social life if she continues to live like a slob. She came home in tears. The kids were ruthless. She was mocked for her strong smell and the red on her pants. It hurt me to see her like this, but I was not seeing the changes that had to be made. For the rest of the week she took good care of herself. There were no stains, she showered herself, and would spray perfume to maintain a flowery scent. My husband and I fought about this though. He called me some very hurtful words because of my choice. He said I handled it poorly and that she will be paying for this for the rest of the school year. I see it as a life lesson. And it actually yields results, unlike my husband's soft approach. So am I the asshole for the way I taught my daughter a lesson? You are the asshole. And #X200B. Before I even dropped her off, the pants were red. I stayed silent. You allowed her to be humiliated by her peers at school. Actually, hang on. I picked her clothing and allowed her to wear white pants. So you actually picked her clothing? You did not simply fail to point out the risk from her clothing color choice. You actively chose white pants. You caused her to be humiliated. You failed as a parent. We never set our kids up for failure. We never intentionally throw them to the wolves. We are here to help, to teach, to love, to guide, and to set them up for success. It is well known that autistic girls face added challenges to menstruation. Clearly you need to address this core issue. It is likely time to explore different products. Please consider period panties as part of the solution set. And, please educate her and empower her to try a variety of options and settle on what she feels best with. Am I the asshole for thinking my Mo should spend the day before my wedding with me? I'm new to Reddit. My FBIL suggested I post here. My 33 female, fiancé, 29 male, are getting married in August. We happen to share the same birthday, and our wedding is the day after. My Mo, B, 25 female, also has the same birthday as us. So for the day before the wedding, I had suggested to Bex that she join us, mine and fiancé's family, for lunch and then help me to prepare for my wedding day. I also asked that she share a hotel room with me the night before, so she can be there for me the moment I wake up, to support and calm me. She agreed to stay in the hotel with me but was a bit vague about agreeing to lunch, as she said she didn't know if she would have plans. This was a few weeks ago. Skip to today and Bex's husband, Lee, messages me to say that he's organized a romantic day out for Bex's birthday, ending with a concert. He told me that it was going to be a surprise for her, so he was letting me know in advance so that I could plan for her absence the day before the wedding. I will admit that I became sharp with Lee. I told him it was inconsiderate of him to book something for Bex the day before my wedding when he knew she had responsibilities. Lee told me I was a crazy bridezilla if I thought I was going to make Bex do slave labor on her birthday. Bex is really good at organizing, and she loves to help. I don't think she'd see it that way. Lee did say that if Bex still wanted to come back to my hotel room after the concert that he wouldn't stop her, but that I absolutely cannot have her during the day. I went to one of my bridesmaids, Val 29 female, and she agreed with Lee that I obviously have to let Bex go off and enjoy her birthday. I told Val I was annoyed that Lee hadn't even asked me if I could spare Bex. He had just told me she wasn't going to be available. I also told her that Lee hadn't even offered me his concert ticket, so that Bex, my Mo and I could have a fun evening together the day before my wedding. She told someone what I said and now I'm getting hateful messages from my other bridesmaid and friends saying I can't behave that way. All I want is to spend the day before my wedding with my Mo. Am I really the asshole? Too long did not read. I want to spend the day before my wedding with my Mo, but my MOH's husband wants to take her out for her birthday. Am I the asshole? I'll add that I don't know if Bex knows yet. She's organized so much for me, so I think that she would help me if I asked her. Edit. For everyone asking why I'm relying on Bex so much, it's because my fiancé hasn't been much help during THR whole process, so I obviously need someone to lean on and talk to about my vision for the day. Edit 2. I can't afford a wedding planner. WOOOOOOOOOOW. Wow. Huge, you are the asshole. Seems to me like you've been taking advantage of a kind friend. Let your Mo enjoy her birthday. She'll be there with you at the wedding. Also, you're a bridezilla. You are the asshole, bridezilla. Your Mo does actually have a life of her own, she is not your emotional support animal. I told him it was inconsiderate of him to book something for Bex the day before my wedding when he knew she had responsibilities. What responsibilities does she have the day before your wedding? Going to your birthday lunch isn't a Mo responsibility. Lee hadn't even offered me his concert ticket, so that Bex, my Mo, and I could have a fun evening together the day before my wedding. This is a joke, right? You are being over the top and you really need to take a step back. You are the asshole, bridezilla. Am I the asshole for being upset that my family didn't get my kids Christmas presents? I married into a wealthy family. My family is lower middle class, so it was quite a change. I have 2 kids, 6 female and 4 male, that get more or less anything they want. But they aren't spoiled. Anyways, we decided to spend Christmas with my family and the day before Christmas Day. Since my dad worked the actual day, my mom calls all the kids to the tree for presents and did her usual, "You guys were so good and that's why Santa gave you all these things" speech. After that, all of them quickly found theirs, but my 2 kids kept searching and couldn't find anything. My son was on the verge of tears and my daughter was quiet after the tree was cleared and they were left with nothing. I asked my mom what was going on and my mom looked at me, then at my kids, and went, "Oops. I thought you knew. We all decided that we weren't buying them Christmas gifts." I asked her why and she said that they get more than they need from me and my in-laws and that they all collectively decided to spend more on those that need it. She looked at my son, who had tears running down his face, and said, "See, look at how spoiled he is. This is good for them." She then walked away. I quietly went back to the guest room and packed our things. I then called my husband, who had offered to go grab my mom something from Walmart, and told him to leave the stuff and come pick us up. We then left quietly after I let my dad know. He was disappointed but said he understood. We managed to cheer the kids up and visited my in-laws instead. A while later I got a call from my mother. She kept asking me why I disappeared like that and said that she was waiting for the stuff my husband was bringing from Walmart. I told her very politely that I didn't like what she did to my children and that she or literally anyone else could have at least told me. My mom said I was acting very entitled for someone who goes on multiple vacations a year. She then brought up my son crying again. I got pissed and told her that the reason he cried is because of her stupid speech about only good kids getting presents. My mom then randomly said that maybe he isn't a good kid if he cried like that over not getting toys. We argued back and forth over this, but then I ended up saying that she's very lucky I didn't snatch back the gifts I bought for my nieces, nephew. My mom just said, "The entitlement," before hanging up. My sister texted me the same thing and my other sister said that I'm playing the victim when the real victims are them and their kids. My mom sent a similar text as well. Am I the asshole? Edit. Got the day wrong. It was the day before, not actually Christmas Day. My bad, it's been a couple days. My dad worked Christmas Day, so we opened presents the day before. Okay, just to clarify. 1. The presents my husband and I got our kids were at our in-laws since we were going there after a while anyways. 2. We told my in-laws what happened and they got some extra things to cheer them up. Getting their presents cheered my daughter up. It cheered my son up as well, but the speech my mom gave seems to be bothering him still. 3. I've been using Santa wasn't done delivering presents, which again seems to have mostly worked since they did eventually get things, but I will be doing what a few people suggested about Santa, apologizing and reassuring my kids that they were never on the naughty list. Thanks. Your mom made a big show to all the kids about Santa bringing presents because they were so good, all while knowing some kids didn't have anything under the tree because she intentionally left them out? And she thinks it's good for them. Look, it might be one thing to maybe spend money differently on grandkids who have a lot versus grandkids who need a lot, but your mom was actively out to punish your kids simply because they come from a wealthier background. That's just gross. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Go and see, now. That's horrible. They sound jealous of you, but bringing the kids into their issues is awful. Try to minimize the damage with your kids as soon as you can. That's a lifelong type of trauma. Am I the asshole for not cutting the salt from the dinners I cook for me and my boyfriend? My boyfriend, 33M, and I, 29F, have been living together for the last 1.5 years, together for 2.5. A few months ago, my boyfriend had his blood pressure measured and it came back ever so slightly high. He's a very healthy weight for his height, tall, thin, but muscly from work as a diesel mechanic. But high blood pressure is no joke, so he decided to try to clean up his diet a little. I do 90% of the cooking at home, by choice. He does dishes and vacuums, so this isn't an issue, and I genuinely cook on the healthier side. I'm only 5 feet 3 inches and slim and athletic, so I focus a lot on healthy proteins. So we eat a lot of proteins and veggies, and I like to play around with different sauces and things to make it interesting. I feel like the meals I make set a strong foundation for an overall healthy lifestyle. My boyfriend loves my cooking and always brags to his friends about the things we eat. Suddenly, my boyfriend decided he doesn't want to eat salt in the things we eat at home. At all. I can't work with that. We've never used salt excessively in our diet, so asking me to cut a healthy amount of salt from our meals just seems ridiculous. I do too much cardio and strength training and don't want to end up with a sodium deficiency because my boyfriend suddenly decided we can't have salt in breakfast or dinner, meals we eat together. I brought that up to me and he suggested salting my food separately, which, fine, but we all know it doesn't taste the same, or cooking our food in separate pots, or for me to supplement in other ways, like Gatorade. This is where the issue comes in. I would be perfectly happy to make these accommodations if I felt like it would actually help, but he's constantly snacking on high-sodium snacks, like chips and pretzels and frozen egg rolls, and I just feel like it's unfair to ask me to change how I salt our food before working to cut out some of his unhealthy eating choices. He's gotten to the point where he feels like he's disrespected if I cook for both of us and use salt, and he'll refuse to eat or do the dishes if I tell him I've salted the food. I think he's being a baby and refused to stop salting our food. We're at an impasse. So, am I the asshole? TLDR. My boyfriend has slightly high blood pressure and asked me to stop salting our food, but I refuse. Am I the asshole? Edit for info. To clarify, my question is mostly, am I the asshole for refusing to make 100% of the changes to address his issue when he refuses to make literally any changes outside of the 2 meals I cook us? I feel like the salt content in our food is not going to be the change he needs to reduce his sodium content. Also, when I say he snacks, I'm talking frequent snacks around 6-8 times a day. Not the asshole if he still eats salty snacks. I was on the fence until I got to that part. No way. Not the asshole. The high sodium snacks are the issue, not your cooking. When I was a kid, my dad developed high cholesterol and was told to cut out red meat. So the whole family cut out what little red meat we were eating. Lo and behold, we discover that dad is just eating red meat for lunch at work instead. So that was the end of the whole family making a change, because why should we when he won't help himself? The fact that he keeps consuming lots of salt outside of meals makes you not the asshole. If he wants salt-free dinner, he's salt-free to cook for himself. Make him cook his own dinners. He's eating salty snacks and bitching about your cooking. He can take care of himself. When he cuts out the salty snacks, you'll resume cooking with compromise. Not the asshole.